reviews, discussions, and theories about films in horror, sci-fi, and genre. This is the Horror Deconstruction. Like, share, and subscribe to hear more.
I've been crawling on my belly, clearing out what could have been. I've been wallowing in my own chaotic, insecure delusions for a piece to call. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Horror Deconstruction.
You sound just like, what's his name, Maynard? Yeah. It's indistinguishable.
I think I sound like Gonard, James Keenan. With yours, komp and... Today's film is...
Mad God. Should we say 2022 or 2021? 2022, I guess.
Should probably say 1970 something. It was actually, or
yeah,
1990 something when it started.
1970 something to
no, it was probably say 90. So Mad God, 2021. A corroded diving bell descends amidst a ruined city, and the assassin emerges from it to explore a labyrinth of bizarre landscapes inhabited by freakish denizens. Directed and written by Phil Tippett, starring Alex Cox, Nakeda Roman, and Satish Ratakunda. So, Mad God is I was quoting Maynard James Keenan of Tool at the beginning because this is a stop motion.
Yeah, I could see Tool feelings of this.
This is a stop motion. This is a stop motion something. I don't know what this is, but it's.
You know what this reminded me of a lot, actually, in like a good way though. You ever play that game Abe's Odyssey on?
Yeah, I know about that
Genesis
game.
or PlayStation. PlayStation.
Yeah, I know about that game.
Yeah, it has vibes of that, like for sure.
I forget the name of the company, but they always tended to come out with some really quality video games and stuff like that. I think Neverwhere is the name of the company. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but yeah. So Mad God is a film that was created by special effects maniac Phil Tippett. It's been being made for 30 years, this film. So it's a stop motion film. You can see the quality behind the subject. Is it a film? I don't know. Is it experience? Yes. I mean,
I kind of know what happens, but like not.
Oh, good. Then you can explain.
But it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. So Phil Tippett is a guy who's been in the business obviously for a very long time. He did
the chess scene in the original New Hope movie, Star Wars.
Cool. That chess game with that weird like 4D chess. So Phil Tippett, I was surprised he's an American. I was watching an interview with him, and I thought this looks very British. This movie, I don't know. I can't explain it.
You think it feels British?
Yeah, I just assumed it was a British guy because all these stop motion, like Henry Selick and people who did like Coraline and stuff like that, are usually British guys. I think the Americans, you know how they usually don't care about stop motion in the United States anymore. They just sort of don't care, which pisses me off. But there's like cool companies
like Tim Burton, which is cool.
Yeah, but like he didn't direct, Nightmare Before Christmas. That was Henry Selick that did it. Tim Burton made the book.
Oh, okay.
So like when you see that, I mean, you can tell the difference. If you look at the difference between, let's say, Corpse Bride and The Nightmare Before Christmas, and like I'm Tom Cruise. What is his name?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Tim Burton.
If it was Tom Cruise, it would have like Lord Xenu and like people.
Yeah, right. That would be a cool movie.
Yeah, actually. But anyway, like Tim Burton's like directed The Corpse Bride, which I thought was like okay, but people like sort of like it, but it's not as big as obviously if you see the Nightmare Before Christmas, because Nightmare Before Christmas is an incredible movie and it's beautiful and it's just like it has so much like character within it. And Tim Burton's like he started out in animation, so he knows what he's doing. But I remember just like I think what it is honestly walking into The Corpse Bride, because it's pretty forgettable. I know it's about like it might deal with necrophilia. I'm not sure, but it's like. You come from that was like a movie that came out like maybe 10 years after Nightmare, and you're like, this better be as good as Nightmare. When it's just like a smaller movie, like this is disgraceful, but it's probably not that bad. But anyway, Phil Tippett, he worked on Jurassic Park, he worked on RoboCop, Return of the Jedi, Starship Troopers, a movie that I thought is incredible, Starship Troopers.
He did Starship Troopers,
and most importantly, he worked on the Twilight Saga. So I mean, that's a very important movie. He worked on House 2.
Did he do the sparkle effects on them?
Yes. He worked on The Golden Child, which is an incredible Eddie Murphy movie. We should do that one day.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I've seen that one.
Indiana Jones.
The fucking end scene was amazing.
Oh, yeah. Indiana. And it had, what was his name? Tyrion's dad from, he was the bad guy. Remember Brother Noomsy?
Oh,
the father
okay.
From whatever. Okay,
Yeah,
Piranha, Star Wars, yeah, Tywin Lannister,
Lannister.
Willow, I mean, RoboCop 2, 3, Tremors 2, a whole bunch of shit. So I mean, like the guy knows what he's doing. So it's essentially like if he's a Stan Winston did his own movie, what Stan Winston never did. But anyway, so this is a movie that, um, it's obviously stop motion. I was surprised at a lot of live action stuff in it.
Did you get the plot?
Yeah, I'll get to that.
I mean, I'm looking at the wiki, and it kind of lines up with what I thought. So
I was such like an asshole like watching this movie when I'd see like live action characters. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, that's not stop motion. I'll take points away from the movie, but like obviously it still looked.
Yeah, but they filmed it with stop motion.
Yeah, it did look like
still.
20s like movement. So Danny, why don't you try to explain to me what happened in this movie? Let me just take a little stab at what happens.
Okay, so I'm trying not to look at what it says in wiki because I'm going to say what I thought happened was that I thought there was like some soldiers, some like war colony on the overworld, and they sent like a soldier down to like spy on the on this like hellscape thing and like investigate it or something. That's what I thought. And then one of them gets caught, and then they send another down, and then there's like a baby in his chest or something, and then there's like this. I guess the mad god is the floating thing that takes the baby, I think, and then makes like a new universe at the end. Like, I am not sure.
I'll tell you this: I don't think they even sent a second guy. I think that was the first. No, because remember they put a pipe into his head and it sucks in and it just starts over. Like it just starts showing what happened up to that point. No.
Well, that's what I thought at first, but then after the second guy goes down, you still see the first guy with his chest cut open. And the second guy has a very different experience than the first guy. Like, he's got tanks and all this shit firing at him. And
so, look, Phil Tippett guy is obviously a very disturbed guy. But in a good way. In a very good way. Because, like I we've watched movies that have hell stuff in it, like Hellraiser 2, which is like a cool sort of sleek version of hell, like a very traditional type of hell where you see, floating fucking boxes and all that bullshit. And then we'd see cool like other sort of beautiful versions of hell, like in one of the best movies, which is Jack Built a House, or what is it called? The House that Jack Built.
I love that movie. What about the one? Movie. What about the not stop motion, the found footage movie, the Asian one where they
Japanese one.
Yeah.
I was just talking. Yeah, Occult.
Occult. Yeah, that is the most elegant hell scene I've ever seen.
Occult is a Japanese movie. You must see it. A fabulous,
I feel like I've mentioned
movie.
It like 10 times on this podcast.
I love talking about that movie. A fabulous listen, I'm not a fan of found footage. Luckily, we've seen mostly good found footage movies in it because we're very like picky with that type of stuff. But please see Occult. But do not watch the last 2 minutes of that movie.
Yeah, just skip it.
Because it undoes the whole movie. I was talking to somebody who I was posting with somebody who like there's a Facebook page called the Yurei, Yurei, which like covers Asian cinema and horror and stuff like that, and they were like, this is a great movie, and I was like, except for those 5 minutes, and they were like, yes, except for those 5 minutes, because just watch that movie. It's called Occult. It's the same guy who did Noroi, so fabulous fucking movie.
Yeah,
but like that movie. Version of hell might be the funniest fucking shit
like,
I've ever seen in a movie.
Looks like a SpongeBob clip or something with like.
It's horrible. But this is like hell. This is like hell. It was so funny because I was watching it.
This is like disgusting hell that you could like smell shit and stuff. Like that's what this feels like.
You could smell the screen because I was watching and I was just like so disturbed by what I was looking at.
I was getting grossed out. I was eating and there was an animal shitting on someone's face. I was like, what am I seeing?
Yeah, there's like these pig monsters with like breasts on its ass and its face. Because there's like that one thing that like puts its tentacle head in its gooch, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" And it's like really weird.
It's very. And I usually gross.
I usually equate this type of style because you don't see this type of art like in American mainstream as like sort of like European. That's why I usually think of it like because I usually like I came from the cloisters, the Met cloisters, and they have like the demons in there. Look. Yeah, the demons are like so like spooky.
Oh, they got cool gargoyles and stuff, right?
Yeah. Like there's a painting of Saint Michael like slaying the devil, and the devil looks like some shit you'd never see because like back then like they didn't have television, and because nowadays everybody just looks at one image of something and then just make their version of it. Back then they had to make that shit up, like in the 1600s, 1400s.
Yeah.
So when you draw a demon, that actually looks really disturbing because you're trying to draw something you've never had reference to.
I want to go to the cloisters to see that show. It's been years.
So like this looks like medieval, like hell, but like obviously updated. But I can't even explain what it looks like because the beginning of the film starts out with like a Tower of Babel, right? And like people just ascending this tower and then destroying it, and like in a light, and then it cuts the word "mad god." And I was like, "What's going on with this movie?"
I think. Do you think that floaty thing with the baby was the mad god? I think it was because it made a universe at the end.
I guess because I didn't know. I didn't think maybe it's just a loose title. I think it's just like the god that let this world be or something like that. Because I was honestly like disturbed by that thing, the thing with the carousel on its head, like the one with the black hat.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
That thing is the mad god.
I don't know if it was. I assume it's a woman. I don't want to like gender whatever the fuck. You know how people get offended by stuff.
It's a fucking monster.
Yeah, it's a monster like wearing a dress, and it has a carousel on its head, like a baby carousel, like the ones that you put over. I think that's what it's called, right? When you put it over a child's crib, and it has like stuff. Mobile, something like that. And like when I saw that, like when you first see it and it's coming out of the darkness, you can't see what it. Like you don't know what it is. You can't even see a shape. Like you don't know if it's a hat or. It just looks like a floating thing. Like I thought it was a cage. And I was looking at it because I had my lights off, and I was like, "What is that?" Like I was really like disturbed by it, and I'm not disturbed by movies really anymore. But I was like watching it, going, "What the fuck am I looking at?" Because it was like a whole bunch of shit going on, and the animation is very clean in this movie. It's not like shitty, like you can tell.
Like
it's when perfect. But the thing is, I don't know when the animation. What animation comes from what era? Since it started 30 years ago, so we'll say this is like in the 90s.
Do you think they like kind of went over everything and updated it all, or no?
I guess, but I mean, how do you update like and stop motion unless you like add frames digitally or something like that to make it cleaner?
I don't think there was any digital stuff in here.
Or then again, let me see. This fully stop motion animated film was Phil Tippett's pet project, more than 30 years in the making. So I'm not sure when it started. I don't know when it actually began. I'm trying to think. Over the years, Phil Tippett released 3 short clips of this movie, which made up about a half of the full 82-minute version. Yeah, I can't think of.
I guess 92 it started.
I know, but what if it like started before that and then he took like a couple years off and then got back to it? I can't imagine taking time off of this. Do you know what I mean? Like because it looks like it's so meticulous and it's so like there's so much minutia in it. Like
yeah,
because like there's a part where it goes berserk at the end. It reminded me of Field of England. When everything went crazy at the end of it.
Well, that was like a universe it made or something.
Yeah, right. With the universe exploding and sort of expanding with that kind of stuff here, I could see that's probably easier to make than the other stop motion stuff because you're probably just like using oils and crystals and shit like that and kind of diluting them, and you just get like happy accident. I'm sure he must have done that like a lot of times, but there's stuff in this film where I can imagine seeing on like in a screen, like this movie would have been great on a big screen. You know what I mean? And it's probably great for anybody who's taking like
definitely would have.
And anybody who's high, they'll fucking lose their mind watching it.
This is a bad trip. I wouldn't want to be on drugs.
So, like, and obviously my only thing with this film, like, there's a positive and a negative aspect to it, is that the positive, like, there really isn't like, such of a clear storyline of what's going on, because halfway through when the assassin sort of is killed, because I thought, the assassin's gonna, get out. And the assassin looks cool. The assassin looks like this sort of, like, 1940s, like there's a comic book called Sandman that was taken over by Neil Gaiman, where it's like Sandman's like more about dreams and shit, but there was another character who's like an Avenger that wore like a gas mask and like a 1940s kind of style of clothing, and he sort of looks like a mix of that, like and a kind of UK army guy and stuff. And so like I thought we were gonna be like following them. I didn't realize how tall those fucking guys are.
It's saying he has a bomb.
Yeah, they all have bombs, because you see like when. Obviously, you're right, because it must have happened a couple of times, because the second assassin guys walk around, you just see a whole bunch of briefcases on the floor. So I guess I don't know what they're trying to blow up. I don't know what the mission of the guy is.
The hellscape, I guess. I didn't realize it was a bomb. I thought it was like so they could get intel. I'm stupid. I like missed that somehow.
You know, but the first guy arms it, and you see the word, and it's they must be like have English words because the word said dynamite on it. Like you clearly see the word dynamite on top of these sticks of dynamite that he tries to blow up, but he doesn't. And they work for some.
I guess I didn't
weird
connect that it was like also in his suitcase.
They
so
work.
much happens
They work
in
for.
this movie.
They work for some weird version of a live action David Cronenberg. Like I don't know who that actor is.
I love
something
his
that kind of.
fingernails.
Something that kind of that I didn't think his fingernails looked decrepit enough. He has like those long like Fu Manchu kind of fingernails.
Well, I think he put them on. He goes to his stylist.
Yeah, but why did he have a yarmulke on? That's the part. Did you see that?
He's the chosen one.
I was wondering if that was commentary, but like you just see him like he looks like this maniac. He has his glasses on. He's like, he's telling something to these people. I don't know what he's doing. And he turns around and you see a yarmulke on his head. I was like, wait, I was trying to see if it was like another type of hat.
He's the leader of everybody, right?
I guess. I'm not sure. I don't know if he's the mad. That's why I was wondering, is he the mad god or like.
Okay, wait. In the world, this is from the wiki. In the world above, the last man gives a map forged by witches to another assassin. Okay.
Oh, so they actually explain stuff.
Well, this is just a plot, but it's like a fucking novel on Wiki. Like, I'm reading through it. The Last Man is the name of that guy with the fingernails, I think.
Okay. Well, there you go, Danny. Jewish people are the last man in the world who get to...
we were the first man, and now we're the last man.
That's true. I mean, there's stuff in here that I can't even explain what like... You try to tell somebody something, and they're like, "Nah,
I don't know
if
it's all supposed to have meaning necessarily either. I
think honestly, it's just like a guy putting it's an art piece. It's a very long art piece. But let me go back to what I was saying before. Is that since there is no sort of clear narrative plot, which I think kind of hurts in a sense, but it doesn't matter because the movie's so beautifully made that like that doesn't really matter because once you like sort of see what the hell we're looking at, you're like, geez, like there's people like men or like I don't know these sort of weird creatures or people creatures that are made out of like wool or something.
Oh, the drone things. They look like coconuts' hair.
Oh, okay. And that's a very specific thing. Like there's a part where the assassin comes down and like there's these people being electrocuted and then they're shitting, and those toilets.
Oh, those
are like
the monkeys. Are you talking about the monkey?
No. There's a part where he's like they're like the size of the engineers from Alien. You know, like these giant people.
Right.
Although they made them smaller in the second movie, but like in Alien, they're gigantic people, and in this one, they're being like electrocuted or some. Yeah, they're being like in electric chairs, but there's like sitting on toilets. And they're shitting inside of a tube that's feeding a monster. It's like very fucking weird stuff in this movie.
Yeah. That big monster, and there was all that slime going into his mouth. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and then there's these two other like the thing you were saying before. These two gorillas, like these mutant gorillas that have like Frankenstein
knobs on their heads,
on their necks. Yeah. And they're kicking each other's asses because they're supposed to be like piling mud up or something. I don't know what they're supposed to be doing, but they're getting electrocuted by this guy with like tumors on his face.
I feel like this movie would be a wonderful video game. Like I really do.
Oh yeah, I absolutely think so. I think you could definitely do it if you did like some sort of like like a claymation video game or something, or just like exploring the world like this.
Just wandering through an open world.
You don't even have to have an objection. There's a video game from Japan called LSD. It's a Japanese game from like the 2000s or 90s, and you're just walking around in randomly generated like dream worlds. Like you don't have to do anything. You're just walking around, and it's like weird shit like this. But with this, it's like I can imagine you just exploring like a 1990s like CD game or something like that. Like, so us trying to explain what happened in the movie is moot. It's just like this is like I assume you and I are saying go watch the film, you know what I mean? Because it's such a strange film that
smoke pot. Don't do shrooms while watching this.
Shrooms, you might pull your eyes out and shit like that.
You might go. You might have a bad experience.
Yeah, because I mean, there's something about the artistry that's involved that it makes it just go ahead and just go watch it, because I'm sure there's people that want plot or want some sort of narrative, and it's buried somewhere in here, but there's a point where the plot stops and you just go, okay, let me watch it, because there's no real dialogue on this film. You might hear like people yelling and stuff like that.
Just the babies crying and shit, pretty much.
Yeah, that part was weird when the creatures were walking around, and then there was like some sort of radio transmission of like
So
children,
I understand
like a baby
though,
crying.
Jules and the baby were inside the assassin guy.
I don't know what's going on. I liked it. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't know what the fuck was going on with this movie. But I liked that I didn't know what was going on. And there's like actual like a beautiful scene when like the tumor face man is like looking at this little like biosphere that he has, and it has these creatures inside of it, and you see like these mushroom people.
I was thinking, that would be
like,
nice to live in there, and then a spider comes out and kills
he lets like
one
a
of them.
spider come out to eat one because he's like an asshole, and then like the these bugs guys are playing cards and shit. And I wish there was more stuff in that hellscape. Like I wanted to see like a narrative story where that assassin is doing something, but I guess that's just a general storyline idea.
So I guess that guy though is he could be the Mad God too, but I think the Mad God is.
That's what I was.
I think he like works for the Mad God and like creates worlds, basically.
Right,
like,
and the Mad God might be the guy with the tumors on his face who has.
That's what I'm saying. Like
world.
he either works for the Mad God or he is the Mad
Oh.
God. But like that floaty thing with the baby carousel was like is the thing that made the universe, though.
Yeah, but either way, this place it looks like hell. Like it looks like fucking hell, and it's very disturbing. And if you want to see disturbing like visuals, this is it for you. Like the part when the assassins show, because the assassin's pretty nonchalant. Because I don't know if they're robots or whatever the fuck they are. Like, you know.
Well, I mean, they're bleeding. They have eyes and shit. So
yeah,
they're people.
Because like when he's using the binoculars and he's looking at that house, and there's a guy furiously playing piano, and then there's like a woman getting stabbed to death in the other window. Like you see the silhouettes. I was like, what is going on in here? So like there's people obviously like having regular lives in this hellscape, but it just doesn't make any sense. And I think that's
I don't know if getting stabbed to death is a regular life.
Right, but I mean, I think that's the purpose, is to make you unnerved and unsettled, and I think it did its job. Like, I obviously certainly has not seen any visuals like this in a long time in sort of a mainstream film. That it's just like berserk like this. Like, there's no wise, like if you imagine if Disney produced it, it'd be like a wisecracking like floating brain.
I wanted to live in the biosphere. Like I was like, if I have to be in this hellscape, I want to live in there. And then he released a spider.
Yeah, and the spider just eats that guy, that mushroom guy. And the other mushroom guy got sad. I felt bad for that mushroom guy.
Yeah,
but I thought it was great. The nurse and the two doctors, they're like live action. So I wasn't sure because I was like, God damn, this animation looks good. And then I was like, wait a minute, that's a real person. I couldn't tell because you really see it when that other the main guy, the overseer or the last man, when you see him sort of putting shit together, you're like, wait, that's a real person, because I couldn't tell. But they're like, we're just gonna be rambling. I don't know what to say because I'm just gonna say watch the film.
I would say
make
watch
up your own. Yeah, just to make up your own mind on it, because there's no point for us to talk
while
about
you're
it. Because
watching it, I would recommend not eating.
The movie is almost it's inexplicable. Like you can't explain what this movie is unless you see it. And even when you do see it, you hear us. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
And it feels very 90s, I have to say.
Yeah, it does. It does. And maybe that's why, it took 30 years, because it has like this 90s stuff on it. But I feel like if Tool was like commissioned to do the soundtrack, I like the film because the movie's mostly devoid of soundtrack. It's just weird, like really disturbing sound effects and stuff like that. But like it's really well done. But if they had commissioned Tool and they just did the whole like 82-minute like album on this,
that would be cool.
Like specifically, it would have been like they could have just called it like Tool the movie. Do you know what I mean? Then they could have just made more money that way.
I wonder if he's ever worked with Tool.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I think Tool. I bet you Maynard was like, "Hey, man!" Like I don't know how Maynard.
Well, the music was you just did Metallica. This is
that's true.
The music was by a guy named Dan Wolf.
Yeah, that reminds me also like there's something funny like this is gonna get political for a second, but I was thinking about since you brought up Metallica, who was the guy that wasn't Metallica and then became Megadeth?
I'm not sure.
Like the singer of Megadeth is what do you mean that guy, that singer? What the hell is his name? Well, anyway, he's like Megadeth has like big rock hits, and then they found out like he was against like gay marriage.
Dave
and
Mustaine.
Dave Mustaine. He had a problem with gay marriage. I don't know what if he does now, but I just picture like all his rock songs now, just like he's a big rock and roll guy, but he hates two guys getting. And I just put like Symphony of Destruction. He's just thinking about guys kissing each other, and he's like, "No!"
He looks like a fucking asshole. So I guess I can see this video. I'm looking at a picture of him.
But anyway, back to this. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this movie. I enjoyed it. And the thing is, it's a movie where because somebody put so much work into it. The first 2 times I was trying to watch it was like 2 a.m, so I was half asleep. And you cannot watch this movie like that because it's obviously it's a labor. Yeah, it's a labor of love, and it's stop motion. And I try to like respect animation films more that way. You know what I mean? When you're watching animation, because it's done by hand and you're trying to watch it, and I was like falling asleep. I was like, I gotta watch it again. You know what I mean? I can't watch it this way. So you have to watch it like clear. You have to watch it because you'll miss something. There's so much shit. Like you're gonna watch this movie. You can watch this movie multiple times and be like, oh, I didn't see that animation there or this or that. So it's a movie you definitely should watch. Very clear-headed. Well, I don't know if you want to use drugs to do that. I don't advocate drug use, but like
it's a good
soft
movie
drugs,
regardless
yes,
of how
not
you
the hard
watch it.
drugs. Yeah, so it's good. It's an interesting. It's certainly a very interesting visual sort of thing to see. So I would give this movie I was gonna say 8.5, but a 9. No, 8.5 out of 10. Trying to be an assassin and blow something up. But instead you get chopped open and they pull out a weird like creature out of you.
A baby.
Danny,
creature.
what rating would you give Mad God 2021?
I give this a 9 out of 10. The whole world has passed since the time of the first Jew, Adam, and now the last Jew remains, and his nails are splendid and beautiful.
And with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Fingernail man.